Hello everyone, this is Keith here, and today I'm taking a look at Vanguard Princess for Linux. So for those of you who don't know, Vanguard Princess is a 2D Dojin fighter, supposedly developed by only one man, who did the sprite work and pretty much everything else. The game uses the Fighter Maker 2D engine. Yeah, and here's the main menu of the game. You only have really two options: arcade and versus. I think this game's. I just sort of want to get this out of the way first. I think this game's biggest issue is its presentation. Like, if for instance, if you want to, like any other fighting game, you can usually go to options and stuff to rebind the keys. But for this game, if you have this like toolbar on the top of it, and you have to like click on this, for instance, and go to game, and this is how you change like the versus settings. And this is also how you change the key bindings for your keyboard. I am using a homemade arcade stick, which uses cheap Suzo Hap parts and a MAME PCB that sends keyboard signals. So if you guys hear like a lot of button presses and stuff like that, it's just my arcade stick. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah. So this is how you rebind like the controls, and same thing for game controller settings. It's all rebinded here, and this system, this whole menu works, but it's just a little ugly to look at. And there's no screen options right now. Apparently the game is locked at 640 by 480, which I think is the same issue that Yatagarasu has, which is another fantastic fighting game, which unfortunately is I think has limited appeal because of its presentation. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and go into arcade mode here. So yeah, here are your characters you can select. You actually have a good bit of characters, Each of them, and each of these characters is a lot different, plays completely different from each other. So there's a good amount of variety in this game. I think this game has definitely enough characters. There's enough variety here to find what you want. And yeah, in case you couldn't tell, this game's pretty anime. Lots of anime going on right now. Lots of it, tons of it. But yeah, anyway, I prefer to play this character. I just like her playstyle. But you have a good bit of characters, and you have your moves there on the right side next to the character sprite. So I think that's where this game shines, though, is its sprite work. I think the in-game sprites look fantastic. But yeah, so up and down is how you select your character, and left and right is how you select your assist. I tend to pick this assist just because she's really basic. She has a nice stun move, which I like. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and hop in like that. You have easy mode here, which starts off as practice and then goes into the actual easy mode. I can't hide my mouse, it seems. We'll just do that. You have normal mode and hard mode. I'm going to go ahead and select normal mode. So yeah, that's my arcade stick you guys are hearing right now. Sorry if it's a bit loud. Anyway, yeah, so here we are. Here's Vanguard Princess. I should mention that this game isn't 100% native to Linux. It does use I believe it uses virtual programming, but when I looked at the files for this game, it had folders called like crossover and stuff like that, so I'm not sure, how that works. I think this is crossover or something like that, but basically it's a wine wrapper, basically, you know what I mean? It's not 100% native, but I'm kind of fine with that because this is just a really basic 2D fighting game. The fact that it uses a wine wrapper for the Linux port doesn't really add that much overhead in the long run, so it's whatever. So anyway, this game is a 4-button fighter. You have a low attack, a mid attack, and a high attack, and then the other button calls in your assist. And if you press low and mid together, you can do a parry. That's really neat because you can parry a move and then basically get a free hit. Let's see if I can... Shit, I didn't do it good. I'm not good. But yeah, I enjoy parrying mechanics in any fighting game. I think parrying mechanics are a neat addition to any fighting game. I think parries are really fun. Yeah. With the way the assist works is if you look at the bottom left there, you have a meter for your special, which is this. The special input is different for each character, but that's this character's particular special. And then you also have the little meter that says support. Once you have at least level 1 support, you can press the support button and your assist will do an attack, depending on what direction you're holding. So if I do forward and the assist button, she'll do something different than if I was doing up or left or right or something like that. See if I can get parry in. Oh god. yeah, this game's pretty anime. It's got lots of panty shots and stuff like that. Very kind of reminds me a little bit of Skullgirls, but I think this game's a little bit more into it. So yeah, the game actually, in my opinion, oh, I just did a parry there. So yeah, the parries are really nice, but yeah, so this game's pretty fun to play. The music's pretty good too. Apparently, this game uses music from something called the Nash Music Library, which is, I guess, a royalty-free music source. But you know, it doesn't sound bad. It actually sounds pretty good, in my opinion. Yeah, I still think that where this game shines really is its sprite work. I think that's where this game is really its best at. Really fantastic sprite work. It's weird that the game's locked to 640 by 480. Apparently you can change that in a config file. Someone mentioned in a review that you can change the resolution in a config file, but it will break like Steam overlay, which might break your Steam controller, possibly. But yeah, the game's fun. Like, you know, I think this game's biggest issue currently is its lack of online multiplayer. Especially because apparently the freeware version of the game, because this game was originally developed as a freeware game in Japan, and apparently the freeware version has multiplayer, which is really strange that this version doesn't. I asked the developers about it, I asked the developers about the resolution and multiplayer options, and they said that it's something they've been getting a lot of requests for, and that they're definitely looking into it. So yeah, they're definitely going to add multiplayer at some point. There is a guide on the Steam community page for this game, which explains getting multiplayer set up for it. It requires you to download the freeware version and then port forward some ports on your route modem, which is a little weird for a lot of people. It's probably going to turn a lot of people off, but it's not that difficult to do, really. But unfortunately, the thing about the freeware version is it's Windows only, so if you're using Linux, you gotta use Wine to set it up, and it's just really kind of a pain. But like I said, I asked them about it, and they said that they're definitely adding multiplayer. It's something in their to-do list, basically. They didn't give me, unfortunately, I asked them if, you know, if there was a time frame for when they're going to add it. They said they couldn't give me an exact time frame, but multiplayer is indeed happening. So yeah. And that's online multiplayer. This game does have, you know, two-player local multiplayer, and that's fine for a lot of people. Really, if you have someone to play this game with, it's pretty fun. I don't really have a lot of people in my Steam library that are friends of anime fighting games, so I couldn't really find anyone to play with, even online, unfortunately. Especially, you know, ask them to download the freeware version. That's kind of a lot of work. But anyway, yeah, the game itself is pretty fun. It's definitely a really good feeling fighting game. Like, the hits and all that feel very solid, and the mechanics feel pretty good. There we go. No, I'm starting again. So yeah, it's just a great feeling game, and yeah, if you have a friend locally to play it with, then it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. And it's on sale right now until, at the time of making this video, it's on sale until September 5th for only $2.50. And if you have someone to play this game with, I think that's totally worth the asking price. That's a steal if you really have someone to play this with. Because I think single player wise, playing this game just by yourself, you're not going to get a whole lot of content, to be honest. You have to sort of stretch it out. Like, I think this game does have achievements, so you would have to like for instance, you know, you really have to go for the achievements or something. In fact, interesting enough, the Steam overlay doesn't currently work for me. That's unfortunate. Pretty sure this game has achievements, but I don't think I can unlock them right now. It's really strange. Anyway, yeah, the game's really fun. Definitely a very solid feeling game. You know, and if you're a fan of Dojin 2D fighting games, then, you know, this game's, I think it's worth playing, you know. It's not bad. So anyway, this has been Vanguard Princess for Linux. It's on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Very fun game. If you're into these kind of anime fighting games, you have someone to play it with locally, I totally recommend it. There's great character variety, great sprite work, and I think the game feels very solid. All in all, very solid game, worth picking up. Once they add online multiplayer, I think the game will totally be worth the base price of about $10. I think that's what this game normally goes for when it's not on sale. And $10 for this game with online multiplayer is definitely worth it. Like I said, I compared this game to Yatagarasu Attack on Cataclysm, which is another 2D fighting game like this. I mean, it's not like this mechanical-wise, like it's a completely different feeling game, but it has the same issues where it's like you look at it and it's obviously indie, you know what I mean? Presentation-wise, it could use some work. And I think that, this game's biggest issue is like its menu system, and because like people look at the menus and they're instantly like turned away, it doesn't look great. And also the lack of online multiplayer. I think once online multiplayer gets added in this game, it's just totally going to be worth it. Yeah, fun game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This has been Keith, playing Vanguard Princess. See you guys later.